All right, I've told you guys so many times, this channel is equally NHL news trade rumors as it is, hey, when something spicy, something dramatic comes out, we gotta talk about it. And man, a bombshell article came out for the Montreal Canadiens that I have to tell you guys about. It is in French, but hey, my dad's from Quebec. I grew up in French. I can read it and I can translate it for you guys. But it's from the book of Pierre Gervais, who is au cœur du vestiaire. Like, he was the equipment manager for the Montreal Canadiens for years. And an article just came out from his colleague Mathias Brunet, and they talk about a certain guy who was apparently a terrible captain for the Montreal Canadiens. And there was some stories brought up here in this article and apparently in this book. And again, the article's free, so I'm not trying to rip off Pierre Gervais' book. I'm taking it from the article, put on La Presse in French. And it's, wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's get into it, man. And this article in particular is about Max Pacioretty and the type of captain he was. And he says at the beginning of the article, I guess from the book, I was stunned to learn in September 2015 that Max Pacioretty was named captain from a secret vote by the players. Yes, Max just had 37 goals and was our best forward, but he really did not fit the bill. He has a really big ego. Wow. And this is when my ears perked up. I was like, huh? And he said he rarely smiles and really didn't mix well with other guys. Oh man, and listen to this part. We could be winning 10-1 and he would be pouting if he didn't score. And then, I'm not sure if you guys are in French, you can tell me what this means. Il a probablement été élevé dans la ouate. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure there's French people watching this video. Tell me what that means. What is that in? C'est une expression? What is it? He then goes on to mention that there weren't a lot of good candidates at the time for captain, but better to have no captain than to name a bad one. He then goes on to talk about him and Piqué's relationship. He said Pacioretty had a lot of trouble with Piqué. The two argued often. With other players, it was just okay, but everyone knew the type of individual Max Pacioretty was. Nobody was more important than him. Wow. And then the next subheading for the next part of the article, he didn't have a lot of respect from other guys on the team. I was looking for friends of his in the locker room, and it was really hard for me to find any. Pierre Gervais is going bananas on Pacioretty right now, attacking his character, everything, his social abilities, like how many friends he's got in the room, his ego, like a bunch of stuff. So clearly Patches made a really rough impression on Pierre Gervais, and you'll see later on, he calls him une mauvaise personne, a bad person. So lots of stuff here. Let's keep going. Pierre then goes on to mention a story where Max wanted this stretching machine on the road brought with him, and Pierre told him hey, the truck is full, I cannot bring this thing in it, it's literally full, I can't bring it. So apparently Max went behind his back to Marc Bergevin and other people on the team to try to get this machine, this piece of equipment, onto the truck loaded to go on the road with them. So Pierre just talks about how he found it kind of cheap that he went behind his back to try to get the piece of equipment on the truck, despite Pierre having told Max that the truck was already super full. So just stuff like that. And then this one was, to me, the one where I was like, wow, this is, whew. I mean, it got heavy here. Get this. He then goes on to say, we saw Max Pacioretty a few months later while he was with Vegas. He didn't even say hi to me. We talked to each other and dealt with each other for over 10 years. Even in warm-up, he stared at me for a few seconds without saying anything while I was on the bench. Maybe he was still mad about the stretching machine, or maybe that's just the kind of guy he is. So, hey, I mean, if you work with an equipment guy for over 10 years, a lot of guys in the league have so much respect for these guys, for the trainers, and they want to really make sure that they're good. They buy them dinner and stuff like that. But Max, if all you did after this guy served you basically for over 10 years was shoot him a death glare, come on, man, and a former captain of the team. But what I don't understand is he keeps getting included in the leadership group of a bunch of stuff. And of course, this is just one side of the story. We would have to hear Max as well. But I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe Pierre Gervais, but like in Max's defense, he wore an A in Montreal before he got the C. Then, of course, the C in Montreal, and he also wore a letter in Vegas. So, I mean, I'm not saying one guy's right, one guy's wrong, but that's just a little peculiar for that. And then the final line from Pierre Gervais about Max Pacioretty said, he's a guy who's like that, a bad person. The entire staff was happy to see him go. Otherwise, I realized in talking with the staff of the Golden Knights while they were here that Max has not changed at all. He really left a bad impression on them as well. Wow, and that's nuts. And again, he goes later on to mention like a different part of the article that apparently Nick Suzuki is just an absolute delight to deal with. Humble, nice to everybody, lots of questions, makes the trainers and everybody top down feel included. So Habs fans, rest assured that if this is true, at least you have a really great captain right now, which again, like, I don't see much reason for the equipment guy. This isn't a tabloid. This isn't a random reporter. It's the equipment guy for so long. I saw this guy on the bench with the Habs watching the games and watching 24CH and stuff like that. Like, I know this. The guy was there. So, I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't believe him, but he says that Nick Suzuki's an absolute delight, basically the polar opposite of Max Pacioretty, and super humble and doesn't have a huge ego and stuff. So, I mean, did you expect anything less? I mean, the kid's a star, but he's also just looks like such a great guy, Nick Suzuki does. So, at least if this was the truth, the Habs were in better hands, and we know that Pacioretty's tenure as captain with the Habs was terrible anyways, and he had a horrible stint as captain there, regarded as maybe one of the worst in franchise history. So that tells you what you need to know, but I just wanted to tell you guys this because this was insane for me. I did a pretty decent job translating. I didn't read it, like I read the article in advance, but I didn't pre-translate it. I just kind of read it as I was going along. So let me know how I did on that. I just kind of was doing it off the cuff, but I know I did everything accurately because I just translated every word other than that what thing. So Frenchies, tell me down below what does that mean. But yeah, if you want more stuff like this where it's like these crazy stories, I want it too. So I'll keep looking the room and I'll keep updating for you guys. So it's not just Habs news. Some stuff like this that's really, really interesting. I'll keep you guys posted. And if you want more stuff like this, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.